We were talking a little bit about football and baseball earlier. Do you know who Brett Farve is?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically,
I feel like I've heard the name.
He is a former quarterback for the Packers. He used to be the quarterback for Green Bay, and then he retired, and now he's just kind of around. Well, I think maybe a year or two ago at this point, it was a while ago, but basically some controversy broke out where it came out that Brett Favre was involved in this weird scheme that was basically funneling money away from the state of Mississippi's welfare program and instead sending it to these different places that would basically just benefit him. Now, it was alleged because no one could it hadn't been proven in a court of law because the state of Mississippi isn't suing him over, criminally suing him. I believe they're civilly suing him, and they've demanded he give the money back, and I think he did.
Okay.
But basically, the problem was a bunch of people reported on this, mainly Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, or McAfee. I'm not sure how he wants his last name pronounced, but basically they're two sports commentators that do these two different shows. And basically Brett Farve said, I'm going to sue you guys because you guys didn't say allegedly enough.
The fuck? Enough?
Basically,
so they did say it.
I don't remember. It was basically reporting, it wasn't that they were reporting anything that was technically untrue. But it was that they were saying oh, look, the words that they were using to describe him, he contests, right? So I think specifically with Pat McAfee, it was on his show, he said that Brett Favre was a thief and was stealing from poor people in Mississippi because if what happened is true, then he was funneling money away from Mississippi's welfare program. And it was $1.1 million that got funneled away.
Shit.
So he was suing over that, basically over saying that he's a thief. I didn't steal it. It's okay, but the state of Mississippi said give that money back, and then you did. Kind of weird if you didn't steal it.
Right.
That's kind of odd. So yeah, he ended up taking both of them to court, and it hadn't actually gotten to court yet, but then I think about a week ago now, he dropped the case against Pat. I think he still has one open against Shannon Sharpe, though. So I guess he's going after him, but he dropped the one against Pat McAfee, which is cool because Pat McAfee was being pretty cool about the whole thing. He said he got a letter demanding that he take the video down and publicly apologize or whatever, and he just didn't. And he was it's funny because he addressed the letter to his lawyer, who he doesn't have a lawyer. He was fuck it, I don't really need one, I'll just represent myself because this is some bullshit. And then
that's pretty cool.
And then he dropped the lawsuit, and then they were both all right, listen, this is kind of stupid. I think Pat McAfee tweeted something about it where he was he dropped the lawsuit. That's fine because I didn't really want to keep talking about this stuff. He realized my show is really a bunch of it is jokes, so I was just joking about him. And then Brett Favre responded yeah, I mean, it's honestly better we both go back to talking about football. We both prefer that. But he's still suing Shannon Sharpe, so I don't know. Maybe he just really dislikes Shannon Sharpe. I don't know. At least I think he is. I saw that he dropped the one against Pat, and I don't think he dropped the one against Shannon. So I guess ultimately crime might pay.
Okay. Because
it seems like Mizzy is down and Brett Favre is down, actually, because Brett Favre had he allegedly received the $1.1 million. And it was broken up into different installments. So I think his the school that he used to go to got a big upgrade because of it. I think something to do with one of his kids got a bunch of money, something like that. I don't remember. I'd have to read the story again, but it was basically blah, 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 whatever. And then Mississippi said, okay, give us the money back. It went, here's $500,000. And then they sent another letter okay, now all of it. Like, we know you got more than half a million. And he was like, okay, fine. Here's the other 600,000. And then they're like, okay, and now the interest. And he's like, oh, there's interest. So I think he's still on the hook for like a couple 100,000. But
Okay.
But then that one lady got $300,000. So maybe if she like helps Brett Farve out, maybe Brett Farve could like, I don't know, maybe he could get in on this drunk driving thing. He could be like her drunk driver. Like she turns this whole thing into a racket. Maybe that could be interesting, right? She hires Brett Farve. She like buys out his interest contract and is like, listen, now you're going to go head to Philadelphia and get fucking trashed and then start driving and then sue the city. And then the money she gets from that, she can hire more people. And then, you know, at some point she's a CEO.
Right.
It just keeps working. And until eventually she's just like the fucking Baron of Philadelphia. Just Philadelphia has a fucking warlord that drives around in the sickest fucking car ever, always wasted as fuck. The thing is covered in armor because otherwise it'll be destroyed instantly. I think that's a cool direction for the city to go. I think something that the United
better than what we have now.
I think the United States is severely lacking urban warlords.
Yeah, it really is, dude.
No,
it's kind of ridiculous.
Actually, I think it's not. I think it's lacking state-funded urban warlords. I think we have plenty of regular self-made urban warlords. Like if you go to like the fucked up parts of like Chicago or something, like I'm sure there's lots of urban warlords there.
There's plenty.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot, but you know, I'm sure they had to actually like get there themselves. They had to get there by their own fucking grind set. Whereas she's just cheating and having the state do it. Dude, leave it to the fucking government to come in and destroy competition. Am I right? This is ridiculous, man. I hate this.